up today, Korea's ruling Saenuri Party elects a three-term lawmaker as its new leader. The party is looking to make a fresh start following its general election defeat in April. Korea's finance minister urges lawmakers to promptly approve a multi-billion-dollar supplementary budget to breathe fresh life into the flagging economy. First, it's day 4 of the Rio Olympics. Team Korea is in action in archery and fencing. Swordsman Park Sang-young makes it into the final of the men's individual epee. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Wednesday, August 10th here in Seoul. Thank you ever so much for joining us. I'm Mark Broom. Our top story this morning, Korea's ruling Saenuri Party has elected three-term lawmaker and former presidential press secretary Lee Jung-hyun as its new leader. The party also elected 4 new Supreme Council members and 1 representative to help the party better connect with the younger generation. Our political correspondent Park Ji-won starts us off.
During its 4th national convention held at Jamsil Indoor Stadium in southern Seoul, the ruling Saenuri Party picked 3-term lawmaker Lee Jung-hyun as its new party leader on Tuesday. In his acceptance speech, the 58-year-old politician vowed to eradicate the party's long-standing factions and to strengthen national security.
I will make the Saenuri Party protect this great Republic of Korea. That is my honor and my mission.
Lee said he will particularly focus on eradicating regional division and factional feuds, as he himself has always been an outsider to the Conservative Party, as one of very few Saenuri lawmakers representing a district in Korea's southwestern Jeollanam-do province, where liberal candidates mostly have prevailed. For the party's decision-making body Supreme Council members, 3-term lawmaker Jo Won-jin and Kang Seok-ho, 2-term lawmaker Lee Jang-woo, and 1st-term lawmaker Choi Yeon-hae were elected. For the party's first-ever representative of the youth at the Supreme Council, 42-year-old entrepreneur Yoo Chang-soo was elected. President Park also attended the ruling party's convention earlier in the day and called for unity and an end to the divisions within the party.
새로운 변화와 화합을 이루어 국민들에게 신뢰와 믿음을 줄 수 있는 정당으로 거듭나야 합니다. 분열과 갈등을 야기하는 정치도 끝내야 합니다. 저는 이러한 정치의 변화를 이뤄내는 것이야말로 새누리당에게 주어진 소명이라고 믿습니다. 이를 위해서는 우리 당부터 새롭게 거듭나야만 합니다.
The president also used the opportunity to appeal to her party members that the deployment of THAAD is critical to national security and that it should not be subject to political debate. With new leaders in place, the party's next task will be to unify the factions that have brought about divisions with its membership. Park Ji-won, Arirang News.
Now, South Korea has laid out its official stance on the upcoming deployment of the THAAD missile defense system to its biggest critic, China. It happened during talks on Tuesday between Seoul's top diplomat in China and Beijing's top man on inter-Korean affairs. Connie Kim has more.
South Korea's top diplomat in Beijing has clarified Seoul's stance on the THAAD missile defense system to China's special representative for the Korean Peninsula. South Korea's ambassador to China, Kim Jang-soo, and China's top nuclear envoy, Woo Da-wei's meeting marks the first time the South Korean government has delivered its position to Beijing through an official diplomatic channel since the THAAD deployment to South Korea was confirmed last month.
The two have exchanged views on North Korea's missile launch and the situation on the Korean Peninsula. China, on its side, has reiterated its stance on the deployment of the THAAD battery to South Korea.
Beijing has long been against the deployment of THAAD to South Korea, citing it'll undermine regional stability and Chinese security interests. And since the announcement of the site in South Korea where THAAD is expected to be stationed, Beijing has seemingly started a backlash on South Korea's travel and entertainment industries, while staying reluctant to punish Pyongyang for its continuing missile provocations. Ambassador Kim's move is being seen as a more active approach by the South Korean government to deal with China's intensifying criticism, as opposed to its earlier defensive mode. It also appears to be a shift away from the parliamentary diplomacy opted by 6 South Korean lawmakers of the main opposition party as they travel to Beijing this week. However, despite South Korea's diplomatic efforts to ease tensions with China, Beijing doesn't seem to be quelling its strong stance against the THAAD deployment. Chinese experts who have been in the forefront of raising their voice against THAAD have reportedly emphasized the problems of the system's radar. South Korean opposition lawmakers on their side are said to have explained how the two nations should resolve this difficult situation together. The two sides have reportedly exchanged views on improving bilateral relations, but polarized views over the THAAD deployment are likely to continue for the time being, with Seoul's foreign ministry saying it'll continue government-level talks with Beijing over the anti-missile defense system. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
The United States has deployed 3 B-2 stealth bombers to Guam to ensure full combat readiness in the region. This as tensions simmer following Pyongyang's recent ballistic missile launches. U.S. Strategic Command says the nuclear-capable bombers will conduct local and regional training sorties and integrate capabilities with key regional partners, including South Korea and Japan. An official said the deployment was part of Washington's commitment to supporting global and regional security. The deployment comes a matter of days after North Korea fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile that fell into waters in Japan's exclusive economic zone. The South Korean government has called on lawmakers to quickly pass a budget supplement bill. The move is seen as an important part of broader efforts to breathe life into the ailing economy hit hard by slowing exports and corporate restructuring. Kim Min-ji reports.
A delay in the passage of a supplementary budget bill could stall potential progress, as this is the right time for Korea to revive momentum for economic recovery. That's according to Finance Minister Yoo Il-ho, who called for its swift parliamentary passage.
The extra budget bill will have less effect if we miss out on the right timing. It could result in the loss of as many as 68,000 jobs, as well as place a heavier burden on low-income households due to delays in payments of emergency funds.
The government announced a budget supplement worth roughly $10 billion in June to cushion the impact of the government's push for corporate restructuring, as well as to boost job creation. The bill was submitted to the National Assembly in late July and slated to pass this week, but opposition lawmakers have refused to follow the schedule, saying other issues at stake, such as the deployment of a THAAD battery to the country, should be dealt with first. Yu said that it's important to put the budget supplement to use starting next month to counter effects already emerging from restructuring in key industries. Such is the case with shipbuilding, where unemployment rates in the areas where the country's main shipbuilders are concentrated are further expected to spike. On top of that, exports, once the main drivers of the economy, have also fallen for every month for over a year and a half now due to weak global demand and growing competition. An expiration of a cut in consumption taxes is also dimming the prospects of improvement in domestic consumption. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
So it's day 4 of the Rio 2016 Olympics, and there is already some seriously exciting news for Team Korea. Within the last couple of minutes in men's fencing, 20-year-old Park Sang-young has won the gold medal in the men's individual epee. The World 21 beat Geza Imre from Hungary, ranked 3rd in the world. The score was 15-14, and it was a thrilling match. And this, in fact, is Korea's first fencing medal in Rio, hopefully not the last. Earlier in the day, Park had quite the run to the final. He faced Benjamin Stephan from Switzerland, ranked 13th in the world in the semi-final. And even before that, he beat the 20-year-old the world number 2, in fact, Enrico Garozzo from Italy, 15-12 in the round of 16 earlier in the day. So congratulations to Park Sang-young for that gold. Along with the stunning performance in fencing, Korean athletes in other fields also put in some strong performances on day 4 of the Rio Olympics. Following in the footsteps of star archer Gibo Bae on Monday, Jang Hae-jin smoothly fired her way to the round of 16 in the women's individual event on Tuesday. Jang defeated her Tongan and Ukrainian rivals 6-0 and 6-2 in the earlier rounds. In men's archery, Korea's Lee Jung-hyun secured his place in the round of 16 as well, beating his opponents 6-2 and 7-1 in the rounds of 64 and 32. The world number 8 will be in action again on Friday local time. Now moving on to another potentially big story, huge story on day 4. American swimming legend Michael Phelps will compete in men's 200-meter butterfly final at 10:30 p.m. local time. That is a little over 4 hours from now. Already the most decorated Olympian in history, the 31-year-old is looking to take his gold medal haul to a staggering 20 in the pool today. If he wins, it will also be his 3rd gold in the 200-meter butterfly after his victories in Beijing and London in 2008 and 2012. So if you fancy watching some potential sporting history, be sure to tune in at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. That's 1:30 a.m. GMT. Now, athletes aren't the only ones chasing gold at the Rio Olympics. The global sponsors pump billions of dollars into the Games. It's an expensive business indeed, but in return, they get the ultimate platform and the potential to reach hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people. Shin Se-min filed this report from Rio.
The 2016 Olympics in Rio are the biggest money-spinning Olympics in the 120 years of the modern games. TV companies from around the globe have shelled out billions of dollars to screen the festival of sport, while the 11 global sponsors have a combined market capitalization of more than $1.5 trillion. Japanese automaker Nissan, Brazil's leading beer Skol, and the world's largest beverage manufacturer Coca-Cola all seek to enhance their brand image by sponsoring the Olympics.
And we did sponsoring the Olympics for 88 years. So that's the longest sponsorship on earth in terms of sport. So, well, even if you're well known, you still need to work on what we call the brand love. You know, people liking your brand and want to consume your brand and want to interact. So what we are doing here is really about interacting, engaging with our core target.
In other words, Olympic branding is a powerful and effective marketing tool.
Samsung Electronics is one of official 11 brand partners of the Rio Olympics. Korea's tech giant sees it as a great way to win sales and brand preference around the world.
The Rio Olympics marks the 10th time that Samsung Electronics has been involved in sponsoring the Games, including the Winter Olympics. Samsung has even introduced Rio to its Galaxy S7 Edge Olympic Games Limited Edition smartphone, a new line of wireless headphones, and a fitness gizmo. At its Galaxy Studios in the host city, fans and athletes alike can try their hand at various sports and activities through a range of virtual reality experiences. So far, the feedback has been positive.
After seeing all these new features, it makes me want to upgrade my phone to the newer version.
Well, seeing the phone today and seeing what it could do changes my image of what I thought the brand was before. And when I've seen it before, I haven't been able to see all these features, and today I was able to see all the features at the store.
The official sponsors are already eyeing the next big sporting event, the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, to further boost their sales and brand recognition. Shin Se-min, Arirang News, Rio de Janeiro.
Well, that's all we have for now on this Wednesday morning here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. Thank you as always for tuning in, and we'll be back throughout the day with more newscasts. Our next scheduled bulletin is coming up at 10 a.m. Korea time. So until then, goodbye.